Hello. Today I'm going to talk about why people think, or reasons people think, that a vegan diet is extreme. And I'd like to give my perspective on why I think that actually it's not extreme at all, and actually the opposite is true. So I think the first reason is because people find it a little bit strange. In effect, when you say I'm only going to eat plants, or I'm going to go vegan, or I'm going to go on a plant-based diet, in a way it's going against your tradition and your culture. In the West, we grow up in this culture of it being completely normal to eat meat and dairy, milk, yogurts. It's all around us. We're bombarded with advertising saying that it's normal. The television's full of cereals with milk being poured on. We're told that milk is good for our bones. All of these things. So for us, and I know certainly for me, eating meat and dairy is completely normal. It's what everybody does. So you don't question it. It's something that you think it's the normal. So when somebody then says that I'm going vegan, it appears that they're actually going to be going on an extreme diet, but that's only because we've not actually questioned the diets that we are actually on ourselves, a normal diet. The second reason that people think that a vegan diet is extreme is because they think that we need to eat meat to get essential nutrients, vitamins, protein. I know I certainly did. I used to think that you couldn't survive on a diet without meat. I thought it was essential, especially the great protein lie that's told to us all. You need to eat meat for protein. Protein is essential. If you don't eat meat, effectively, you'll just wither away and die. And I think this is another reason why people believe that a vegan diet is extreme, because if you say, I'm not going to be eating meat, the first thing people think about is, where are you going to get your protein? That's an extreme diet because you're actually cutting out one of the things that's essential in our diets. And of course, protein is essential, but the good news is there's protein in virtually all foods, and especially in plant foods. And actually, the protein that's in meat came from plants. So I addressed this in another video. It's really not an issue at all, but it's a reason that people think that going vegan is extreme. Okay, the third reason is a little bit similar to the first reason, is that people think that a vegan diet is extreme because they compare it to the diet that they're on now. We consider the normal diet to be normal. But if you think about it, a normal diet is a little bit more extreme, or in my opinion, a lot more extreme than a vegan diet, because is it really normal to drink the milk of another mammal? Is it normal to drink cow's milk? You might be thinking, well, yes, it is. But if I was to say, oh, well, actually, I prefer rat's milk, or would you like a little bit of this pig's milk, or would you like a little bit of this otter milk? Then you might start to see where I'm going with this. You might start to question why would I want to drink the milk of a rat? But in effect, it's exactly the same. A rat is a mammal, a cow is a mammal. You see? It's because we've been conditioned that drinking milk is normal. So when somebody says, I'm not going to drink milk anymore, people believe that it's extreme. The fourth reason people think a vegan diet is extreme is because in the West, we don't really consider the animals in the equation. We know that meat comes from an animal. I know I obviously always knew that the meat I was eating came from an animal. But we bury it. We bury it deep in our minds. We put it away. We put it down in that little dark corner and we never go there. I know me, whenever I was offered the opportunity to perhaps watch a video or see some facts about what actually goes on in farms or in slaughterhouses, I never wanted to see it. And the reason was clear, because I knew that if I watched that footage, or if I started to consider it, I might see things that I didn't like, and that would affect my diet, and because I thought I was eating a normal diet, and so on. So I think we believe our diet to be normal and we believe a vegan diet to be extreme because we don't want to consider the animals. And if you completely ignore the animals, then a vegan diet does appear to be maybe extreme. Once you bring the animals into the equation, however, it becomes a completely different ball game, and that's why we like to ignore it. The fifth reason, I think another reason that people think that a vegan diet is extreme, is because we've lost touch or become unaware that actually all of us humans are compassionate in nature. So what I mean by that is that we are by nature compassionate beings. If you were walking down the street and you saw a dog being beaten or hurt, or children were throwing rocks at a rabbit or something, you would have this urge inside you to go and stop it or do something about it. And that's coming from your compassion. We are by nature compassionate. So why is it that we should consider a diet where compassion is at the forefront of the whole thing? I mean, obviously there's the health aspect and the environmental aspect, but compassion is a big part of being vegan. So why would we think that a diet that incorporates completely our own nature is somehow extreme? That doesn't make sense. And why would we think that a diet which breeds, tortures and then kills animals for their flesh and their secretions somehow to be normal? It doesn't make sense. If you think about it, as compassionate beings, the vegan diet should be the default diet because we are by nature compassionate. Another reason people think the vegan diet is extreme is because they think that if they go on a plant-based diet, they'll lose their energy, that they'll waste away and become feeble, and they won't get the it's a little bit similar to the first one, they'll be lacking in something. But in actual fact, some of the top athletes in the world are now actually on a plant-based diet. Djokovic, the world's #1 tennis player, is now vegan. Lewis Hamilton is another one. There are lots and lots of examples of athletes who've switched to a plant-based diet and their performance has increased. So this idea, and I think it's also a cultural thing that's that we've grown up with. We have this idea that vegans are weak or anemic or somehow lacking in something, when in actual fact the opposite is true. Vegans are full of fiber, they're full of energy, they're full of antioxidants, they're full of nature's goodness. So yeah, it's not about losing your energy, it's about regaining your energy and vitality. And the last reason is that I think people think that going vegan is extreme because they have this idea about they think that vegans are somehow closed-minded or part of a cult or antisocial, and actually it's quite the opposite. You'll find that vegans are some of the most open-minded people you could ever meet, and that's because when you make the switch to a plant-based diet, the whole curtain is drawn back as to what we've been told and what we've been conditioned to believe. All of the untruths fall, and if all of these lies, all of this conditioning that we've been led to believe in something so fundamental as our food can be twisted and that we've been manipulated in such a strong way, then obviously you're far more open to seeing all the other areas of life in which we might have been lied to, manipulated, and so on. So actually being vegan makes you a very open-minded person and also far more compassionate. I never had a problem. I mean, people say, oh, people won't want to invite me to parties anymore, or I'll not get invited to functions. This is not true. My friends and family are actually interested to know why, and if if you've got good friends and family, it's actually a source of conversation. It gets people talking, and you're making, in a way, you're also a little bit like a role model. In a way, you're setting an example, which is a really nice thing. So there we have it. 7 reasons why being vegan is not extreme. In fact, a vegan diet is the opposite of extreme. It's in line with our nature, it's in line with our compassion, and it's everybody else that's doing it wrong. Thank you.